As you begin breathing deeply in and out and regularly getting deeper and deeper with your breath to begin sharing this Hyperphantasia guided meditation, let me tell you the story of my imagination deficit disorder. This was the term I used for years before the word aphantasia went viral. And IDD, or imagination deficit disorder, was the term I used in my first book to help those who feel they lack a mind's eye visualize anyway for better memory. And as you continue breathing out and in, consider what this word visualization means anyway. And what about hyperphantasia? What does it mean to you right now? Is it a reasonable goal, or is it something you already experience but haven't realized it yet? Our goal is to find that we are all hyperphantasic, even if we don't know it. So for me, back when I first started working on my imagination, I had to solve this strange idea I'd been given as a young child about imagination deficit disorder. Later, I had to finish my PhD, sitting for all 3 of those long and strenuous exams. I had to find a way to visualize so I could use memory techniques. And I was so intrigued by this promise of being able to memorize mountains of material using visual association. So intrigued that failure was not an option. And failure is still not an option, which is why I practice every day, constantly improving, using the steps we're going through now, starting in this meditation. So as you breathe in and out, what is the goal for you? How does your intention appear in your mind? And what are the obstacles that appear in your mind? What are they like? What do they feel like? What do they look like? Were you told at some point in your life that you were stupid or incapable, or did you receive some other negative message? I was in grade 5. I was told I didn't have an imagination for music. In fact, they said something was disordered in my mind. I had a curse given to me, and I wore that curse around my neck like an albatross for far too long. So what are you carrying around your neck? What story have you been told about your abilities? And can you let it go? Can you use your breath to begin to loosen it, weaken it, send it on its way? You don't have to answer now, but accept whatever arises in your mind, and then think about that miracle of anything arising in your mind at all. Think about that experience of consciousness that you're having now. This is the miracle of visualization, because whatever arises in the context of your goal to visualize better so well that you experience hyperphantasia is happening in your mind now, which is the most incredible visualization experience of them all, being aware of what's happening now. So think not so much about what you see in your mind, but what appears in your mind when you think of that goal to visualize better. And what is that goal like? How does it appear? Narrow in on the experience of having an intention. Narrow in on what it is like to have the mind that is experiencing a goal. And simply ask, what is this like, just as it is? What is it like for me as I experience me, myself? How do you experience you? How would you describe this experience, just the way it is? As you breathe in and out, realize there's no right or wrong answer. Use what your mind offers as the material to work with, and I will continue to ask you questions as we go deeper and deeper into this guided meditation. And if you don't like what arises, see if you can sit with it anyway. Embrace it the way you would comfort a child, and do so without judgment, without pushing it away, without labeling it with negative words or ideas. But if that happens, what happens? What is that mental experience? How do you experience it? Is it visual? If there is no visual element, what is the element that appears in your consciousness? What is that consciousness like? If you can't give it any words at all, if only concepts and ideas that are beyond word and form appear, think what that is like. Reflect on it. Use it. Work with it. Connect it with your breath. Be firm and have parental authority over any negative thoughts that arise, because you are the authority over what appears in your mind, or at least you can be, even if it will take a little bit of practice. And if not you, who else could ever practice? Who else could ever command that position of parental authority over the mental content in your mind? Who else but you could ever be the one who experiences everything that appears to your consciousness, to your awareness? Reflect on this as you continue paying attention to your breath, and the hyperphantasia experience begins when you think about consciousness itself and what appears in your consciousness. Continue focusing on your breath in and out, and when you think about this voice appearing now, is it really my voice? Is it really the voice of Dr. Anthony Metivier from magneticmarymethod.com? Or are you producing it in your mind? Or is it both? What does the sound of this voice look like? Is it a graphic in your mind? Does it appear as a bouncing web? What does it feel like physically to have the sound of these words appear in your head? What is the look of that feeling? What would it look like if you could see it? By asking these questions, we are entering the conceptual mode of the 8 magnetic modes, and we make it hyper or more rich and multisensory by starting with what we've got when we consider questions like these. And deeper you go into a deeper and more wonderful state of relaxation with each and every breath. A deeper state of wonder as you realize that your brain, your mind, are the main source of your experience, the experience you're having now. Just think of that chemical bath in your brain, what it must be like. The firing of millions of neurons, if not billions of neurons, each and every second. What does that look like? Is it a storm of activity? Is it a volcanic spray? Is it a tight and focused beam? No matter what is happening, as you ask the question, set aside all judgment, all negative labeling. And if you don't have answers to the questions, that's okay too. Give whatever level of effort you have to give right now. This is more than enough. And you can always come back later to experience this guided meditation again. And as you continue breathing and considering the activity in your brain, allow your body to relax. Bring relaxation down to your feet. Maybe squeeze the muscles in your feet a little and then let it go. And think about relaxation itself. Think about the spray of neurons through your brain as you're experiencing relaxation. What's happening in there? What colors are involved? Don't try to make colors appear. Don't try to see them. Simply allow yourself to become deeper and deeper relaxed as you think about the colors of neurons flowing through your brain down to your feet and just squeezing those muscles a little bit, putting a little bit of pressure there and thinking about this incredible flow. What does it look like? What could it look like? What does it feel like? What does the feeling look like? Perhaps you think of my voice as exciting the neurons, sending them like schools of fish, that wonderful chaos of nature that paradoxically seems structured as the yellow and blue and green fish dart with intense energy, and also chaotic as they churn through the water. It's both structure and chaos. Maybe you don't see these colors. Maybe you don't see anything. You don't see fish, you don't see water, you don't see neurons. That's okay. What if you could? What would it be like if you could? That was my mantra when dealing with aphantasia, back when I called it imagination deficit disorder. What if I could see in my mind? I just repeated the question without judgment, without demanding an answer, just allowing myself to deeply relax as you are doing now, in collaboration with me, each and every breath helping you become deeper and deeper relaxed. And you realize that nearly every word you experience is an opportunity to practice. Deeper relaxed. What does that look like? What else can deeper look like? What does it feel like physically? And what visual ideas arise as you feel the different meanings deeper and deeper relaxation inspire? Maybe you see yourself descending in an elevator or sinking into a cloud. Maybe you're walking barefoot in a backyard garden, feeling the wonderful cool of fertile soil between your toes as you enjoy deeper and deeper relaxation yet. And think of the color of that soil. Think of what it looks like. Is it wet? Can you see the water? Can you see all of the many different colors that are involved in order to make soil look like soil does? What is happening in your mind? And as you practice with me together, what are the sounds involved in the ideas that arise? Go deep into them. And if the monkey mind throws up obstacles, as the monkey mind is known to do, let it. What is it saying? What does that monkey mind look like? And then with power rather than force, simply ask, are these thoughts useful? How exactly does this monkey mind of mine behave? Many hundreds of people who have seen my TEDx talk on reducing unwanted thoughts have asked, what does he mean? How do my thoughts behave? Well, that's what I mean. How do they behave? Use the question to improve your visualization as an exercise. Are your thoughts like a child having a tantrum? If so, what does that look like? What are the colors, the locations, the sounds, the moods, the temperatures involved in this little child misbehaving? Go all in. Ask the question and then answer it to the best of your ability now, using as many multisensory references as you can. Maybe you don't like the term monkey mind, maybe Godzilla mind or King Kong mind. Try a few on for size. If nothing comes to mind, use the alphabet as a trigger. A, maybe for alien. Are your thoughts like an alien? Try the idea on for size, and then run through your multi-sensory options. If your thoughts were aliens, and maybe they are, what would that feel like? What sounds would be involved in having alien thoughts? What would alien thoughts look like? What alien emotions would arise? Are there any concepts involved? For example, are you thinking of movies like Invasion of the Body Snatchers? What smells and tastes and even the sizes of these alien thoughts? What are they like? If you want to experience hyperphantasia, this simple formula will help do the trick. It will help set the basis for any time that you want to run through a number of questions you can ask yourself. Questions based on the multisensory cave cogs. K for kinesthetic, A for auditory, V for visual, E for emotional, C for conceptual, O for olfactory, G for gustatory, S for spatial. That's cave cogs. And maybe that's a lot to remember for you now. That's okay. There are many, many videos I've made that can help you improve your memory. But let's stick with the program. Stick with our breath and continue exploring our visual experiences and what we can do to achieve a state of hyperphantasia. As you continue to relax, imagine a frustrated student. If you see nothing in your mind, just think about it in words. Use the power of your attention. Focus on what is happening in your mind more than the goal of what you want to happen. Always use power, never force. Now this student has many exams ahead and, like all people, many pressures in life. But giving up is not an option. So this student reads and reads all about memory techniques. They keep talking about the memory palace technique and using pictures and images to remember. This makes the student think about it logically. It makes sense logically. But the student cannot see anything more than murky outlines in his mind. Nothing like what he would call seeing. Nothing like what he would call having a mind's eye. But he thinks about it. And using logic alone, he simply asks, what would it be like if I could visualize? And an idea arises. He wonders, what if I sidestep the issue and draw a memory palace? And he puts aside all the chatter about how that's not the same thing and simply allows himself to explore the notion. And with the monkey Godzilla King Kong mind as quiet as he can get it, he gets deeper and deeper relaxed, using breathing and stretching and a pen and some paper, taking action, not overthinking it, not dwelling on all the obstacles and the potential excuses. He just does. He draws. Nothing special, just squares on a page, a simple, almost childish map. Are you allowing yourself to use cave cogs to go through this memory of mine now? What's happening in your mind? Can you feel yourself sitting at a desk, drawing squares on a piece of paper? Is that volcanic spray of neurons in your mind giving you images or sounds or feelings or just words? Whatever you're getting, what is what you're getting like? If you're only thinking thoughts and they appear only in words, what are those words? Are you repeating the words I'm saying? Or are they unique words as you're translating what I'm saying in your mind into your own words? Can you experience just what a miracle that is? That one voice from thousands of miles away can be transmitted through positive and negative electrons and all the wizardry and chemistry and technology, so that you, in your mind, can copy and reproduce or translate into your own language? What is this process like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? It's happening to millions and billions of people all day long on the internet, transmitting information from one mind to another. Your chemical bath, your brain, is the great copy machine as it receives data and somehow in working memory allows it to be an experience that you perceive. But how does it perceive it? What can you do to experience new perception? Is it a factory in your mind churning out some new personal variation? Is it a computer? Or is it something where you can pick off a word from a page or an assembly line in that factory? What would it be like if you could take a word and hold it in your hand and ask yourself as you do this, as you continue to work with your breath, what would it be like if you could spin a word around in the air? And let's work with a word, hyperphantasia. Wikipedia says that hyperphantasia is the condition of having extremely vivid mental imagery. It is the opposite condition to aphantasia, where mental visual imagery is not present. The experience of hyperphantasia is more common than aphantasia, says Wikipedia, and has been described as vivid as real seeing. Real seeing. What does that mean? Is the experience you're having now real? Take the letter H, the first letter of hyperphantasia. Think about a hippopotamus. Is your thought of a hippopotamus right now not real? Is it not 100% real? Is it 50% real? What is real anyway? Think of the hippopotamus getting so hot it almost explodes, running to a lake when it comes across a game of hopscotch. What does it look like when you have other H words you can squeeze into this mental image? How many can you compile? Can you compile in more? Can you add a friend named Heather to this hippopotamus heat wave? Have Heather give the hippopotamus a haircut and dive into cave cogs each and every step of the way. Kinesthetic, feeling the scissors snipping away at the hippopotamus's hair. Everything. The audio, hearing the scissors snip, snip, snip. Then go on to the next letter after you've finished cave cogs. Y in hyperphantasia. What does that bring to mind? How about a yak? How about a yellow yak that yells at a yacht on the yawning lake that the hot hippopotamus was trying to reach before the hopscotch game began? Maybe the yellow yak searches Yahoo for yardsticks made of yarn that it can use to hunt for yearbooks from yesteryear. What's happening in your mind? What is it like to play this game of imagination? How does it feel? What sounds arise? Do you notice the game of alliteration that I'm playing? How does this enhance or distract from the game of visualizing these elements? And just notice what happens. No matter what it is that happens, don't judge it, embrace it, accept it, breathe into it. Then see if you can change it. Can you change it softly? Can you change it gently? Can you just break it down to the beginning, taking that letter H, taking that letter Y, spinning it in your mind, feeling what an H might feel like in your hands. Keep going. Keep asking the questions. Hyperphantasia, or any word you see throughout your day, is an opportunity to play a very, very powerful visualization game. Imagine wildly through the options, the possibilities, and simply ask, what is this like? Use cave cogs to take yourself through the question, all the magnetic modes, not just the visual mode. And as you do, ask a very strange but interesting and potentially revealing question. Who is this experience happening to? Who is having this experience of consciousness? Can you find this person? Where in your experience of consciousness is your sense of personhood? Is it to the left? Is it to the right? Where in your frame of conscious experience is the I you experience as yourself? What are the cave cogs of the I itself? And realize as you do this that everything you experience is experienced inside this frame of consciousness. Not only is everything to be seen by you as the witness to this frame and field of consciousness, the very idea that you are the only one who can see it fits inside the frame. You are an infinite regress. You are a Mandelbrot set. And if you don't know what those terms mean, look them up You'll be very, very rewarded with many intellectual and visual adventures if you do. And as you deepen your relationship with these notions, understand that hyperphantasia is happening all the time. Your conscious experience right now is an image, or rather a collection of many images coming together simultaneously. What kinds of images? The kinesthetic image of what the room feels like, the ground beneath your feet, the chair underneath your body is a kinesthetic image of the experience of feeling. The sound of my voice now is an auditory image that the chemical bath in your brain is copying into itself and translating, and so on. What you're seeing on the screen is coming in through your eyes. It is a visual image. The emotions you're feeling, whether they're frustration because you still can't see anything in your mind, or there's triumph because you're starting to realize that your mind is itself a collaboration of many, many images happening simultaneously. These emotions are emotional images. Experiencing a concept is a conceptual image, and you can choose to label this experience with words, and those words are images. And you can take words that scientists cook up to limit yourself, or you can use those words to expand yourself as you are doing now. And as you continue to breathe and relax deeply, what you are is what you are, and what you strive to be is an image or a concept or a feeling or an idea that appears within you. That word appear might not be exactly correct. It doesn't matter. We don't want to get hung up on the words themselves. Rather, we want to experience that our experience is itself hyperphantasic. It's happening now. A rush, a spray of neurons racing through the brain, colliding and collaborating to help you have this moment. And who else could it ever appear inside except for you? It took me many years to realize this and to enjoy the profoundness of the mystery of consciousness. It is the greatest mystery in the world. And sadly, so many of us are so focused on what we lack or what we think we want that we don't pay attention to this incredible experience of the now, right now. Isn't this moment right now the most hyper-fantastic image in the world? Does it get more visual than paying attention to this moment right now? Does it get more multisensory than right now? How does the future Yellow Yak using Yahoo being more yellow help you now, when however it is that you're experiencing this Yellow Yak now is already full and complete? If you could make it more yellow, but you're objecting that you can't see yellow in your mind, why is this a problem? To whom is it a problem? If you were honest about creating the exercise when I asked you to find the experience of I or of you within yourself, you will have found that it's pretty much impossible to complete the exercise. You can't find the I within the field because no one can. You are the field. Your brain is interacting now with the world to create this experience, and nothing can be added to it and nothing can be taken away. The now is what it is, and it is truly a perfect wholeness if you pay attention to it. So isn't it the case that the Yellow Yak searching Yahoo is perfectly yellow right now, as you're imagining it? If not, what tricks are you playing with yourself to say that it is anything less than the most extraordinary experience gifted to you now, fully and completely, as the very realization of fullness and completeness, presented to you as the only person who possibly can experience such concepts now? I can't experience them for you. Thousands of other people watching this video can't experience it for you. Only you can experience it for you. Now maybe I've failed to convince you of just how miraculous this experience is. Maybe I've failed to help you experience the stunning fact that this experience right now is the fullest and most complete experience you can ever possibly have, and every future goal that you want to experience happens in the now and is full and complete and perfect as it appears now. If I failed you, I apologize. But as you continue to breathe, I ask you to consider these questions and these matters over the days and the weeks to come. Can you provide evidence that the future can be or would be or should be any different without making it different in the now by fully engaging with the now? Isn't the future itself perfectly imagined from this moment, or whatever moment you're imagining it in? You have access to all of consciousness, including all the things you can visually imagine right now. And to build these skills in the future, I suggest you do as I did and let the need to be visual go. I drew my Mary Palaces so I could see them on paper and plan them out. And then I just started to experience them mentally the way I experienced them. Not the way I imagine others experience them, because the way I imagine others experience them is only an experience inside myself. Just as the way you imagine others have some different or special ability to visualize is already an image inside of yourself. You cannot see inside the minds of other people, and yet you can, because the very notion that others have minds is inside you. Now, you might not experience that as a picture, but does anybody experience anything as a picture? Aren't pictures things that hang on walls? Things you experience when you open your eyes and look at them? Sure, some people say they have vivid imaginations, that they can perfectly create the picture on the wall in their minds when their eyes are closed. But the thing that helped me the most was not huffing and puffing and hoping and praying that I would be able to be like someone else. The transformation came when I realized that every other person I perceive is perceived within me. That perception is the image I sought. I am already creating the picture of a picture on a wall in my mind as I picture the idea that other people can picture pictures in their minds. It's circular, but as I thought about it, I eventually came across cave cogs and other practices like mind mapping. And instead of trying to be something other than I am, I focused on enhancing what I was. And as you continue to breathe deeper and deeper, I want to encourage you to focus deeper and deeper on who you are. And when you can start where you are now and work on the exercises we've talked about today, poking into words like hyperphantasia itself, juggling words, and just playing with the alphabet and asking the kinds of questions that have helped me so much, I'm confident you'll soon experience incredible boosts in your imagination and your visualization. You will experience true visualization, unhindered by thoughts about what you don't have and bolstered by a loving acceptance of what you do have and the miraculous and blessed creature that you are. Thank you for joining us for this guided meditation. There are more on this channel and links are included in the description below. You might like to read The Victorious Mind, How to Master Memory, Meditation, and Mental Well-Being for more context. And for more videos on aphantasia on this channel, check out those links below and get subscribed. Until next time, keep good care of yourself. Thanks as ever for watching, and keep yourself magnetic.